welcome to the Weekly Mag. Today we'll be discovering the environmental challenges facing us in the near future with the expert Pere Fullana. We'll be chatting with Medusa Box and we'll hear the sound of their third album, I Love Astronomy. And our reporter Humberto is going to the streets to see if Catalans judge a book by its cover. This is the Weekly Mag, your TV show in English, hosted by Marcela Topor.
Hello and welcome to the Weekly Mag, the TV show that helps you keep up your English. And let's kick off today with our words and facts panelists, starting with Matthew Tree, who's going to talk about international connections of something very Catalan, right, Matthew?
Well, yeah, it used to be almost exclusively Catalan until about 20 years ago. We're going to talk about the castells, or the human towers. To give an idea of how international it's become, there was no phrase in English to describe them until 20 years ago. And now in English they are officially the human towers, els castells. And for example, we now have international groups who do these human towers, the Castellers de Paris, for example, or the Chiquettes of Copenhagen.
What?
Copenhagen?
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
That really aroused my curiosity, but before we get to know more things about the castells, we go to Marius, because I suppose you brought more idioms today.
Yeah, but today you have to excuse my French, because we are going to talk about idioms with a four-letter word, S-H-I-T. So idioms with shit, I'm sorry. Maybe a couple of them come to your minds, but not now. This is absolutely not the answer of the last guess word. It was a five-letter word, and I can remember the clue. It was, what sorceress? It was a five-letter word, what sorceress? But don't tell anyone. You have still more minutes to think about it.
I think I may have this one this time.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, even I got it this time.
Anyway, Humberto has tried to make a point this week. So, do you think that Catalans judge a book by its cover?
Well, Marcella, I had to go into a deep undercover, the most exciting one that I've done so far in terms of changing my look. And I just wanted to see what the reaction was of the Catalans, and just look at this one.
That little girl will make a fool of her.
The most important thing is that you have fun. No matter if you have a wig, no, it is the how you wear that wig.
I should have shaved my chest, shouldn't I?
No. Well, it's quite good. Yeah. You are, I like it.
Well, Humberto, you certainly had a few admirers, I see.
Well, that wasn't the only thing that was undercover. In fact, something else may have not been undercover. Wait and see.
Okay, we'll wait and see. Anyway, it wasn't a big effort for you to do that, I suppose, because you enjoy.
I mean, I did do a lot of sacrifice for you, as usual. But no, I think I was okay.
Well, we are definitely going to do that, but before, let's go to Matthew, who is going to present some unexpected international Catalan connections related to the tradition of human towers, the castells. That's a very old tradition indeed, Matthew.
Well, you know, it's fairly old. It started with a Valencian dance, funnily enough, called the Mushiganga, which is a dance which ends with the dancers climbing one on top of each other. And that was round about the end of the 16th century, beginning of the 17th century. But by the time the dance moved up to Catalonia, the climbing on top of each other bit had become competitive. So in the 18th century, we have already recorded competitions between human towers in Catalonia itself. And there are photos and films of them in different towns in the mid-18th century. So it's a tradition that's about 270 years old. Wow. It's quite old, you know, it's fairly old. And for example, this has been going on throughout the 20th century. And we have actually a little clip here of 1936. This is in Vilafranca and in Valls, just before the Civil War. There's a video we've got. Just here. Here it is. This is 1936.
Plaça del Blat in Valls.
So it's not
Yeah.
something that's been invented recently. It's not like so many traditions. It's something that really does go back in quite a long way, and has always been done. And I remember when I saw these human towers, you know, for the first time ever, I was absolutely stunned. I thought they were something absolutely extraordinary, because they're halfway between a tradition, if you like, a folkloric tradition, but they're also a sport. And abroad, when I first saw them, most people had never heard of them. I certainly had never heard of them until now. They were declared, in this funny phrase that the UNESCO uses, a universal intangible cultural heritage in 2010. And then they start to become a little better known in the rest of the world. In fact, 2010 is when the Colla Vella del Xiquets de Valls went to the Chinese city of Huangzhou and set up a castle, a human castle or a human tower of 9.
Whoa. So, first of all, can you actually explain to our non-Catalan audience what La Colla means? Because I think we all know, but I don't know if they will know, but I'm really, really impressed with all this going outside of Catalonia. I did not know that.
Oh, and we'll see later, we'll see very soon that in fact there's a lot, it's been internationalized a great deal more by now, 2020.
So what is La Colla?
La Colla is really the team. Every group of human tower builders is divided into a team. The team is called a colla. Quite recently, I mean, I remember people telling me this about 20 years ago, between the Colla Vella and the Colla Jove del Xiquets de Valls. Joves, pardon, Joves a Mesa, these details are important. They come from the same town, they all know each other, but the rivalry was so strong that if a member of the Colla Joves, the Joves, passed a member of the Colla Vella in the street, they would refuse to talk to each other. It was like really, really serious. But what I like about it is the sports side of it, funnily enough, because it really is quite a serious sport. They have a motto, all the castle building or human tower building groups: strength, balance, courage and judgment. That's the backbone, if you like, of the human tower movement. They even, this goes back about 10 years now, they use computer simulations to help them build better and higher and more complex human towers. And on top of that, everyone, and this is another thing I really like about them, everyone is free to join. There's no, it doesn't matter if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're black, if you're white, if you're European, American, Latin American.
Yes.
And no
you're free
experience
to join the
required.
groups.
No experience required?
No experience required, no, because you start with the Piña, which is the group that helps support the human tower, and then you literally work your way up, so to speak. Have you ever taken part?
I have been part of the Piña of Barberá del Vallès at the competition in Sabadell in 2015. It was so exciting because I had just arrived in Catalonia, and I saw all these people dressed in these uniforms that were wonderful. And you all know I love uniforms. And so I had to, they wrapped this thing around my waist. I had to do a little twirl.
A fashion.
Yes, and I was so excited. I started doing the piña, and the first one fell. And this woman had to be taken to the hospital, and I didn't want to do anymore. But they said, oh, no, you have to do 2 more. And I was like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? But the other 2 didn't fall, and everything was fine, but I had a great experience. It was actually very, very, very nice.
Okay, so you've got these teams in Catalonia which are very, very international, but in fact the internationalization of the human towers started quite early, much more recently, much earlier than I thought. In 1958, when this is the first time that a human tower team, a colla, went outside of Spain to perform, to create a tower. It was the Colla Vella de Valls, and they went to the International Fair in Brussels in 1958. We've got a video of it here. This is Brussels in 1958. And they also did one in Switzerland, which is coming up.
I did not realize that they were so worldwide now.
Yeah, well, it's been a slow process, a kind of incremental process. When Barcelona was announced as the Olympic city, and it was announced in 1986, that same year was when the video we've just seen of Switzerland, that's when they went to Switzerland, 1986. In 1992, the Olympic year, they went to Houston, Texas,
They were in Texas.
and also in Euro Disney in Paris.
Get out.
So they're getting better known as time goes on. Okay, the ball really started to get rolling in 2012, partly for political reasons that we all know about. Lots of journalists came to Catalonia. They discovered the human towers. For example, when there was a big display of these human towers, 280 journalists from 60 different media outlets covered the event, which the first time that had ever happened. The BBC in 2016 did a really powerful documentary about the human towers. La Xarxa was also involved in all that, in fact, this particular house. There was spectacular performances by the Castellers de Vilafranca in New York and India, also that was back in 2012. And now there are not only human towers in Catalonia, but also in Paris, London, Berlin, Sydney, Melbourne, Montreal, and Copenhagen. And they're all official. And there are then two unofficial in Chile, one in Chile and one in Hangzhou in China.
So how many official teams, how many official collas?
There's 104.
My
104 plus the ones in Chile and China, and two more starting up in Dublin and Rome. So who knows, in the future we might be seeing international worldwide tournaments of these Catalan human towers with foreign teams involved. But I say in the future because this year it's impossible because of COVID-19. Sadly, all these events have been cancelled. But let's hope that next year it'll be different.
Yes, indeed. What about yourselves? Are you very much into castells yourselves?
I still love watching them, I really do.
I love to, and I've been once making a piña with a group in Burdagassos by Vilanova and Geltrú.
And I love them as well, but since I did a piña, it was amazing.
Okay, now let's go to Marius. You told us before about some special idioms. Let's say more about the informal side of the English language.
One of my favorite phrases, it's a very deep South American phrase that only pretty much other Southerners will understand, is you run into a friend on the street or something, or you call your friend and you just say, well, shit, what are y'all doing? And it is one of my favorite things. It's just super Southern, and it makes me happy to, it just reminds me of my roots. So I try to throw that in as much as possible, even though no one here knows what I'm saying. Yeah.
My favorite expression is it's all Greek to me because it's something that it's difficult to understand, and Greek is for all of us. It's difficult to understand it. So
the expression I like is jumble shit, man, because it's very strong, and if you're not really English speaking, or you don't know very well the English language, you don't understand it.
Well, shit, what you all doing? She says. She says it's an expression from the deep South. She feels quite proud of it, but it sounds very strange for me, this use of the word shit, just as a greeting, because it seems to me, what's up, how are you doing? But doing that, I've been making some research about that, and I found out that it's not an idiom at all, but a sort of a popular phrase, media, because of an actor, I must confess, I didn't know him before, called Leslie Jordan. He's from Tennessee, here you are. This man, he's very short, 1.5 meters, and known for his southern accent. Well, shit, that's what you're doing. I'm not pronouncing like a southerner because I'm from the north.
Maybe Humberto should try.
Well, shit, what are y'all doing?
Oh, nice.
Well done.
You've got t-shirts, you've got teacups, coffee.
Everything.
Jordan has 5 million Instagram followers. So he's really popular, and this phrase's special expression was quite popular in response to the COVID-19 posts he made during all this time. So that the idea here maybe we can think about that in our century, in this 21st century, idioms are born in media. It could be like in our Catalan environment, like talking about, I don't know, Quim Masferrer, sou molt bona gent. You are very old, you are very good people. This wasn't an idiom in Catalan, but now it's very popular because there's a TV program. So that's the same with this world shit you're doing. But do you, as a southerner you are, Humberto, do you use it? Do you know it?
No, this phrase, well, not even a phrase, it's something that you would just say once in a while, but not that often. But maybe it picked up after I left in 2014, and it's become something bigger, like you said. And then another one would be, no shit, that would be, of course. And then if you say, no shit, Sherlock, that would be, of course, dummy. So
Never heard of
That's
that.
British, man.
Yeah, my
British.
daughter says it all the time. Yeah.
and
No shit, Sherlock?
No shit, Sherlock. Yeah.
And we have, one of my favorites is the shit is going to hit the fan. And when the shit is
That's
going to
very
hit...
American,
Yeah.
right?
Have you heard that
Oh,
one?
it's in Britain. It's
Britain.
used all the time.
Really?
Yeah, when the
Okay.
shit hits the fan. Yeah.
Because I have an American friend who uses it a lot. But,
And the other one that I really like is you never shit in your own backyard. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
we don't
yeah,
use
yeah.
that one actually.
Oh yeah, we use that one.
Or I don't shit where I eat. Is that the same thing?
No, there's something similar to that. but
That's from The
it's-
Sopranos.
Yeah?
that's. But your front yard, it makes me think about NIMBYs, not in my backyard. You know that? When you are talking about prisons, and you say they are necessary, but not in my backyard, not near my house.
NIMBY, NIMBYs.
NIMBY,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, that's the idea.
Interesting.
Okay.
Anyway, we also have the word bull plus shit,
Yeah.
okay, which is not used so often as a verb, right?
No, well, yes, because don't bullshit me means do not lie to me. Don't bullshit me. Bullshit as a noun is nonsense, exaggeration, lies. And I found that bulls are not the only animals related to or referred to their excrements. For instance, we've got horse shit as well, meaning the same, maybe more emphatic, I don't know. Chicken shit in American English, related to cowardice or to referring to boring details, little things. So we have bull, horse, chicken, and of course this shit is in all slang expressions, all of them very vulgar, like being shit-faced, meaning be very drunk,
yeah.
right? Oh, shit-faced, well, you're drunk. Or a shithead, stupid person. Or a shit kicker, an unsophisticated man, maybe a cowboy or like, you know?
That one I hadn't heard of.
You
The
never
shit
heard
kicker. Never heard of that one, but I'll have to look it up, yeah.
And do you use some of these expressions normally?
I
or-
use all of them.
all of them,
But I have to say
not
that
all the time.
I have to say that ironically, it's really not so much as vulgar because it loses its definition
I
as
see.
the word shit. For example, in Spanish or in Catalan, you have joder, ostras, but they don't really mean what they are really defined to mean anymore. So when you say shithead or when you say don't give me any shit, or
You are not
this-
talking about
Cut
excrements, right?
I'm sorry.
Cut the crap or cut
Cut
the
the
bull.
well.
Full of bull.
No, we can say cut the shit.
Never heard that.
Also,
Never heard that
Cut
one.
the crap, yeah.
But full of bull.
cut the bull. I've heard cut the bull
No?
too. Yeah.
Full of it.
Americans.
Full of it.
You're full of bull,
it.
but I've heard cut the bull too. In America, we say cut the bull. You're full of bull.
I thought it was a
In
British
America,
expression,
do you say, to
actually.
describe someone stupid, do you say he's as thick as shit?
No, shithead, shithead.
Okay, no, thick as shit then is British
Thicker.
English, yeah.
No,
Right.
but the other thing is that between bullshit and horseshit, there's a difference. So in bullshit, for example, you're telling me a lie
Yeah.
that I know you know it's a lie.
Oh,
But if it's
I'm bullshitting
horseshit,
you.
you're telling me a lie that you may not know it's the truth or a lie. There's a difference between bullshit and horseshit also.
It's very interesting.
And
quite
there is, really,
scatology.
yeah.
And there is. I have a message to the audience. Don't do that at home. Don't say it anymore. We are just talking about it from the linguistic point of view.
Exactly.
Scientifically.
Exactly.
Okay, and let's finish with some languages.
Oh,
right?
yeah. The other one, it's all Greek to me. That was quite interesting. It means that you don't understand a word, right? It was first used in English by Shakespeare in Julius Caesar. But in fact derives from the medieval Latin, Graecum est non potes legi. So that's Greek, you can't read it. Unless you know Greek, of course. But the interesting thing is very funny because each language has its own version. For instance, in Dutch, I'm not going to say it, pronounce it well, that is Latin voor mir, that is Latin to me, Latin. In Italian is per me è arabo, that's Arabic for me, for Italian. And in French, c'est du chinois pour moi, Chinese. So each language makes another one. That's why some Spaniards say that Catalans are like Polish, or that we talk Polish. Have you as an English but Catalan speaker, have you ever been told that you sing Polish or if you talk Polish?
Oh God, yes, so much so that I started actually looking into the origins of the expression. It comes from the beginning of the 20th century when the Poles were fighting for their independence. And a Spanish politician in Madrid stood up and said, "Are the Catalans doing the same as the Polacos?" Right back in, I think it was 1919, 1920, something
So
like that.
until now.
So, yeah.
That far back. Interesting.
Yeah, well, okay, now let's go over to Humberto Gonzalez. I would say he put on his reporter's hat and went out into the streets. Okay, but why settle for a hat when you can put on a dress and a wig?
You're telling me.
Especially in winter, almost.
Well, you know, I do sacrifice a lot for this program.
Can't help it, let's face it.
Yeah, but...
Which is good,
Yeah.
which is great.
Well, I confess I really did have a good time playing 007 and playing a little angle there. And I really enjoyed seeing the Catalans response. So let's watch what the result is. We're about ready to rock and shock Barcelona today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's find out how I am treated based on how I look. And let's make it a little bit more interesting. Much better. Let's see if Barcelona judges a book by its cover. Or let's see if I survive. Do you pay attention to what somebody looks like and make a decision based on what they look like?
Sincerely, yes. Sometimes I'm not very open-minded.
Or do you go for the soul?
In discotheques, they were willing me to believe they were girls, you know, but they weren't, you know?
I would have never done that.
I believe I can fly.
Oh my God. Do you judge a book by its cover?
I do. I think you're crazy, man. Literally. Why are you going around in a bath suit? Questions might arise.
But you haven't seen my butt.
I haven't. Maybe that can change my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not crazy. Italia. Italia. I'm Italian. So you're not crazy.
I told you I could change your mind.
I mistrust the guys with suit and a tie for experience. Yeah.
What about somebody in a bathing suit? Do you trust them a little bit more?
In a bathing suit. Yeah.
So we can't actually get you like me in your underwear or something like that right now?
No, I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
Your dog just licked my butt.
I mean, you put yourself in the conditions for that to happen.
No, there was one in my university who was like super hippie, long hair, didn't shower very often, so sometimes very smelly.
Oh my God,
He
that's
didn't
really...
wash his hair, so that didn't look great at first. But then I met him and he was super nice, smart, hard worker, and it was definitely a different impression.
This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
But if someone smells, I mean, it's hard to not feel that.
I went to live in Italy, but I wasn't like really fashioned. Some people look me like I was a homeless.
I try to represent what I am. This is why I dress a type.
Hold on, I'm gonna check you out right now.
So it's good to be judged if you take a learning out of that.
Perfectly said.
And I felt that sometimes people might have thought, oh, look at her, whatever, she's not that fancy, feminine, whatever.
You are judging me by how I look. Would you go out to a restaurant with me dressed like this today?
Of course, definitely, especially if you pay.
We go, for example, now, yeah, I would go. Why not? Yes, for me, it wouldn't be a problem. Sincerely, not.
I think I have a date as a drag queen for the first time ever.
Well, why not? Yeah, we would go.
Conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, everybody had a really good answer, very honest, but I definitely need another wig, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a little bit too messy. And my boobs are definitely not big enough because that guy wouldn't have passed me over otherwise. Well, what did y'all think?
I think that you pretended not to be cold, and you did it very well.
No, actually, it wasn't that cold, but the contrast was that there were people with these coats, winter coats, and I was passing in front of them with just a little skimpy bathing suit. But for me, it wasn't that cold. It was actually, it was okay. It was a really nice day. And,
okay, you want to do it again? In the
yeah,
next
I
video?
could do it again. I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit cold now. Not like it was last week. But what about you guys? Would you guys have talked to me if you had seen me dressed up in that outfit with the wig or in the bathing suit in the middle of winter? Tell me, Marcella.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
What would you have said to me as drag
Well, it
queen?
depends. Sorry?
What would you have said to me as I was in my dress? And
I would say you look gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone that far. But, you know, of course I would have talked to you. But it depends on the conversation, you know. I mean, it depends what you were going to say. You know,
My hair wasn't
how
nice.
you look.
Everybody said that.
Yeah, what happened to your hair?
It was a wig. I just got that wig, and it was just not a combed wig. I mean, I don't know how these people do it when they do these transformations. What about you, Marius?
Yeah, I definitely. I talk to anyone. I would talk to a plant, to an animal, to a person, everyone.
Yeah.
So I would maybe tell you that you have to go to another place to have a best hair.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody. So now, what do you think that most Catalans are receptive to people that are not dressed regularly, that are going to be dressed like me, or maybe with pins all over their bodies or tattoos or something?
It's a fact, but I once did a long series of interview with an elderly Spanish transvestite who in fact became a transvestite in the early 1960s. And she explained in that period under the Franco dictatorship, transvestites from all over Spain came to Catalonia, specifically to Barcelona, because there they felt safe. They knew that there people didn't attach much importance to the fact that they were transsexual, that they were
transvestite.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
gender fluid.
Yeah, Ocaña, for instance, the example of Ocaña in all the 70s here. So I think people here is quite shy, but
very open,
respectful.
Quite laid back about this
That's
kind
it.
of. Yeah.
But anyway, I would say that London is the place to go. I think in London, really, no one cares what you look like, what you dress, what you wear. So
No,
I think
not
it's
at
even
all.
more. People are even more
Open-minded?
tolerant there,
Yeah.
or discreet than here.
Yes,
At
you
least
can do
that's my
whatever you
opinion.
want in London at all. Absolutely anything. Although there's one thing that I've seen people do here that I've never seen them do in London, which in the summer there are people who walk around the streets completely naked. Normally middle-aged men, funny enough.
Here?
Yeah, there are 2 or 3 of them. I've seen them in the center of Barcelona.
Send me a WhatsApp on what street that happens.
I'll do that.
But I thought it was forbidden to do that in Barcelona.
Well, the guy I saw, he was just hanging out on a street bench, completely naked. No one was taking much notice.
Yeah,
No.
I suppose
No
the police
police.
wasn't there.
No police around, not at the time.
At
No.
that time.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that at all here. I feel like I've missed out.
Okay, you can text him.
Immediately.
Okay,
In a flash.
now I think it's time for guess what, the word puzzle that Marius brings us every week. But before that, though, let's solve last week's enigma.
Yeah, I think it was quite easy.
Yeah, this one was
It
easy.
was what sorceress? 5 letters, and it was 3, 2, 1.
Witch.
Oh, nice. Don't look at me when you say that. Witch, W-I-T-C-H, which is a sorceress synonym. But, you know, the typical one flying in a broom and with a pointy hat and all that. But, of course, it sounds like witch. W-H-I-C-H, which means what. So it was quite easy, I think.
Right. These 2 words certainly lend themselves to lots of puns, but what about the enigma for next time?
I'm so sorry to inform you that this week is longer, probably more difficult. It's taking a sketch to retreat. 11 letters. Taking a sketch to retreat. 11 letters.
Taking a sketch to retreat.
Yeah.
11 letters. Well, but being long doesn't mean it has to be necessarily difficult, right? Can you crack?
I don't know,
Can you crack
usually
it?
I'm really bad with these.
Well, the solution next week. Until then, Matthew, Marius, Humberto, thank you and take care. And stay with us for more surprises, interviews, music, language tips, games and suggestions, like the book and the film recommended by Salvador Faura from the Xarxa de Bibliotecas Municipals of the Diputació de Barcelona and Miquel López from Televisió de Badalona.
Most unfortunately, Virginia Woolf had to go through gender discrimination when she was alive. That is because of the time when she lived. It is said that on one occasion she was not allowed in a library in London. And then she told people, and she later wrote, it is really unpleasant to be locked out, but how much worse it would be to be locked in. This anecdote is connected with the writing of A Room of One's Own. A Room of One's Own is a defense of how women need a regular income and also a space for them to work. I don't think you have to be a woman to appreciate a regular income and a room of your own. What do you think?
Usually a movie is supposed to stir emotions. In the case of Inside Out, this is literally the case, because the stars of this computer-animated movie are the emotions that a young teenage girl feels. Joy, anger, sadness, fear, and disgust live inside the brain of this girl, and we can both see and hear them. The relocation of the girl's family from Minnesota to San Francisco results in changes in her brain that make her emotions to have a lot of extra work. This computer-animated movie is considered one of the best animated movies ever made. Its director, Pete Docter, is also responsible for Up, which also offers us a good mixture of both emotions, comedy, and animation. Inside Out will probably turn your knowledge of how the brain works upside down.
So we are concerned about climate change, but where do we start? Today's guest, Pere Fullana, is going to give us some clues. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. The passion for volleyball has led a group of players, friends and coaches from La Salle de Girona to found a new volleyball team that includes categories in all ages. A new adventure that kicked off this summer in the hope that they will eventually get to play in the National League. So let's meet the members of Volley Girona.
Volleyball for me is passion, is dedication, it's constant effort, and lots of times there's frustration, like what another passion, but it's like a family for me right now. It's my second family and a home for the past 4 years. Well, we were La Salle Girona Sports Union. We were a club with 14 teams and 150 players. One fine day in March, we were confined to our homes. The school principal calls us, informing that with the pandemic situation and with the virus on the streets, they were considering removing all extracurricular activities. Therefore, we had to dissolve our club, and with the meaning that we had to lose our sport and a large family of 150 players. In an instant, we thought that we were going to lose a family and a sport. So it's true that it was a shame to think that the network and relationship we had with the whole family and the whole club management with the club, it was a shame to think it was over. So we did not feel like it, we did not give up, we did not want to say goodbye, so we rest our heads and we looked all the possible ways to save volleyball and to save our practice. We created a club in 3 months. It was a very tough summer because in 3 months we had to create a club, and it was run by 8 passionate coaches of the club that did not want to lose what we had achieved so far. We are a public entity, so we had to look for public facilities. Girona City Council took us phenomenally because they had to adapt some changes and welcome 150 players, therefore 14 teams distributed in training hours by pavilions and schools of Girona. So they distributed the 14 teams we have, that we train to Monday to Friday, normally 2 times a week per team. And we are distributed in some schools of Girona, like Escola Migdia and Cassià Costal, and in some pavilions like Santa Eugènia or Pont Major. We always want that our teams enter in some league because the competition, it's I think it's the most great thing of a sport. And hopefully in a few years, hopefully very few, they would go up to national with the meaning that they would play all over Spain. With the coronavirus, things have not been easy, but especially because coronavirus, it's an uncertainty thing that we do not know if we will be able to continue with the usual sport practice or not, if we will have to stop the practice of volleyball and the sport practice in general for a few months more. Maybe in a few weeks we will be able to continue again, and hopefully we will meet again with the children and we meet again with the families and with the usual sport practice.
Although it was a problem that was overlooked for decades, the protection of the environment has become a pressing issue for all of humanity today. This is the topic of today's interview, and the following glossary might help you through the conversation.
On today's interview, you will learn a lot about the ways to be environmentally responsible. So don't miss any of the glossary words like greenhouse gases, which are several gases that prevent heat from the Earth escaping into space. Another word you will hear more than once is raw materials. He will use it to describe basic elements in the primary production used to produce goods, finished products, or energy. We must be conscious about the way we are living and wasting planet resources. So we must watch out about our consumption and be responsible with the amount of goods and materials we buy or use. And the last word of today's glossary is waste. When we hear the word, we may think about the material, substance or product used and no longer wanted or required.
Global warming, pollution, shortages of natural resources. Well, let's talk about these issues and the possible solutions for the near future with Pere Fullana, Director of the UNESCO Chair in Life Cycle and Climate Change at Universitat Pompeu Fabra. Well, Pere Fullana, thank you so much for coming to the Weekly Mag today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Well, okay, like we said before, global warming, environmental issues in general have been around for some time now. But have we, as the whole society, the society in general, do you think that we have paid enough attention to this problem?
Well, not yet. Although we are starting to see that this is an important issue. That
Finally.
Finally, if we don't do something about it, then we're lost. So I guess, we are breaking through this situation and now people is having conscience of that.
Do you think that we have learned anything from the lockdown and the whole situation of paralysis created by it? Do you think that things have changed? Has anything changed? Has anything improved from this point of view after our experience with the lockdown?
Yeah, good question. We go through different crises, and the last one in 2008 took us to a deep thinking on if our economic model should be as it was before, but we didn't change much. We have taken economy as usual. With the COVID lockdown, again, a lot of economic activities have gone down, and environmental pollution and the need of resources as well. However, if we do not change our model of economy, going to a more circular one, this will have no impact on our lives. So the next thing is to rethink everything we have learned before and change it to the new circular economy strategy that the European Union is putting on the table.
Okay, circular economy, that's a very interesting topic we're going to discuss more thoroughly a little bit later, but let's talk about yourself first. You are a chemical engineer with a PhD in industrial engineering, but you have focused your career on research, and the protection of the environment. You're a pioneer, actually, in the development and implementation of what we call life cycle analysis methodology. Okay, so what is life cycle analysis methodology for everyone to understand, in case they don't know what it is?
We need a program for that.
Well, I'm afraid we only have,
we have
a few minutes, but just very shortly and in simple words.
Yeah, for instance, this microphone is produced in a business, a company that's producing these microphones and uses energy to produce them. However, not only that, not only the energy within the production site of the microphones is important for the environment, but all the raw materials that are needed to build this microphone and their processing, as well as the use of the microphone afterwards. It's using more energy in the use than in the production phase.
Yes,
and
exactly.
What happens when the microphone is not useful anymore and it becomes waste? How do we manage it? So all those are life cycle stages in the microphone life. And in addition to this, we have to think about not only energy, but water consumption, or global warming, or acidification, or toxicity. So there are many impacts that we can do to the environment. So life cycle analysis takes into account all life cycle stages and all different impacts. Therefore, if we change something in the business that's producing microphone that affects upstream or downstream, or that affects different impact categories, then we are aware of that. So no rebounds effects escape from our side.
Well, that's very interesting indeed, and very well explained. Let's talk about Barcelona. Recently, there have been some new policies meant to reduce pollution, like the so-called superillas, the widening of sidewalks and walkways, and also the banning of older cars, older vehicles into the city. So do you think this approach is effective enough, or is there something missing?
Well, anything we do is good. So sometimes it's easier to start with, for instance, cars, to ban some cars. This makes the life in Barcelona better because there is less pollution, less smog. The superillas, as they are called, makes a healthier life for the citizens because you can walk around without this pollution. You are happier because you see green. All this is good.
Yes, of course.
But the big picture is that the millions of people in Barcelona consume products and services. This behavior in consumption of products and services is by far more important than measures being to make life better for the citizens.
So do you think that's the key? That's the most important thing that we can do for the environment, to change our habits?
I think so. There are two phases of the environmental impact. One is production and the other is consumption. We can decide on our consumption. We cannot decide on how these products and services produced. However, choosing if we want one product or another, we may influence on which type of company is producing that product.
Yes, of
so
course.
In the end, we are a strong side of the chain. If we change our way of living, we can change also the way that products and services are produced.
That's difficult. I mean, are people doing this? Do you think people are aware enough of this need to change their habits in order to save the environment until it's not too late?
We are in
or before it's not too late.
We are in a society that has other values. More Nordic societies in Europe have the environmental impact as one of the top values. So they behave better and better. What happens in our country? So we haven't been taught at school and at university about these issues. So we have less knowledge. We have a lot of information, thanks to media like this program. But we are not activists. We have to change from knowledge to activism.
Right.
And this is the difficult part, because it may influence our pocket, it may influence our leisure. So we have to make this change of needing less products and services, develop ourselves without matter and energy, and use our time not to buy things, but to be more.
Do you think there is still time to do that? Is it not too late to do that?
It's never too late. We have a big climate crisis. We had another crisis on the ozone layer some 20, 30 years ago.
Exactly.
We have more or less solved it. The whole world got together and changed the production of certain substances. And this has been more or less solved.
Yes. So what's the next really important thing to get solved? What's on the top of the list?
On the top of the list is the climate crisis. It's not so easy to solve as the other I mentioned before. because it has a hysteresis, a big one. We have gone too far in emitting CO2 and other greenhouse gases, and to absorb them will take much more years than the ones we have been producing it.
Right.
And the natural systems are out of balance. They are not stabilized.
Okay.
Like the poles, for instance.
Now that you mentioned the poles, we've all seen these science fiction films, right, presenting apocalyptic images with all the disasters created by the climate change. You mentioned the poles. No, we've seen some scientists say that the land could start to disappear, and then the people should start moving to higher areas on the planet. Do you think this will happen soon? It is happening already, and how will it affect Catalonia, and when?
Well, it is happening. I believe it will not happen to the extent of these catastrophic visions that some are having a science fiction films. I am confident that we will change our minds and put effort in research.
Yes.
And we will be able to slow down this change. For sure, coastal areas will be flooded.
Here in Catalonia?
Yes.
And when more or less? How much time have we got?
I mean, it's happening. So we see it year by year. Not in a short term, it will, the ocean will rise 0.5 meter, but it is not necessary to level up 0.5 meter to have catastrophic
Can we stop
consequences.
somehow this process?
No.
It's
No.
unstoppable.
Not immediately. It can be reversed, but with time and with a lot of effort, I guess.
Well, hopefully we can achieve that. And now let me stop you just there for a moment. We'll continue our chat by talking about the concept of the circular economy. That will be after a language tip. Today we're going to learn some loan words from German about terms related to psychology. Let's check them out.
Hello, wie geht's? All is good. Well, as you can probably tell, we're going to talk about German words that have made their way into English again. But this time, they are more to do with psychology. And of course, the first word is extremely psychological. It's very big and very scary. It is Schadenfreude, and it is something we use in more formal settings. It's not an everyday word that we use in English. Now, Schadenfreude is this regrettable feeling when you see somebody else suffering or somebody else having a bad time. You can also use the word gloat. To gloat over someone is to secretly be happy inside when you see their suffering or miserableness. The next word is Wanderlust. Now, wanderlust, I'm sure you've seen many times, and of course it means somebody's love of traveling. The explorers of the 19th century, of course, had severe wanderlust. All they wanted to do was travel and explore the world. Wunderkind. Wunderkind is a child prodigy. A child prodigy is, of course, somebody like Mozart, who at 5 years of age composed his first piece of music. And moving on to the final one, which is angst. Angst, you may have heard or may think about something that makes you nervous. Okay, this feeling after watching the news and all the terrible things that are going on, you have this feeling of angst inside. So in order to get rid of this feeling of angst, cheer up and continue learning some English. Have a nice day.
Welcome back. We are having a gripping conversation about environmental policies, and now we are joined by our contributor, Adina Rose Levin. Hello, Adina.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks so much. So I'm really fascinated by this conversation, also thinking about how, as a young person, young-ish, thinking about the next generation and how we need to really protect our planet and protect our behaviors. I wanted to go through a couple of buzzwords that I'm sure, Pere, you're familiar with when it comes to waste management. So let's start with the old hierarchy, the 3 R's of waste management: reduce, reuse, and recycle, right? So meaning that the most important thing we can do is to reduce what we consume, change our behavior, reduce what we consume. And then when that's not possible, we try and reuse what we have as much as we possibly can. And then when that's not an option, we try and recycle it and turn it into material that then new material to make new goods and products. So is this hierarchy still valid today, Pere? Do you think, how has it evolved over the years?
Well, it was a high percentage valid in the past, and it's still now. It is valid unless a life cycle analysis says the contrary, because sometimes recycling might be better than reusing. For instance, if you think about a cava producer, if they are exporting to the United States, what do you think? It would be better to leave that bottle, the glass bottle, in the States to be recycled, or to have it back to Catalonia to be washed and reused again? So that's a very hard example, put to the extreme, but in between there is this factor of distance and weight of the bottle that makes that up to a distance is better to reuse, after that it's better to recycle. So this is not a message written with blood on stone. It's a general concept that generally it works. However, I do not believe those are the most important R's. I think the most important R's are reject, like smoking. So reject it. That's a whole part of our pollution that would be just take it out. And the other thing is rethink. So anything we do in our personal and professional life, rethink it about sustainability. Is this sustainable, what I'm doing? This would have much higher effect on the environment in a positive way than the old R's, I guess. If I may, you talked about the younger generation. I think that we failed our children. We failed them. 2 generations after the World War II, we have made a society that it's not sustainable, and we should do something about it before giving you the world for your decisions to be made. So I want to stress that we have failed our children and our grandchildren, and we should do something about it.
And you also said it's never too late. So.
It's never too late.
Well, anyway, what Greta Thunberg did, when she came out and spoke for the young generations, what do you think about that? Is it a good thing?
It is our failure. Young people see that the consequences are over them, and the causes are on us. So it should be us looking for solutions, fighting hard, and not seeing our children having to fight against climate change, because we do not.
Yeah, they should be in school studying. That's what they should be doing. Anyway, okay, let's talk about circular economy.
Yes, so you guys already brought this up earlier, but it's the idea of putting these concepts into a closed loop system. So, for example, and correct me if I'm wrong here, when we have our apple cores and banana peels and we put them into the organic bin and then let them decompose with other food scraps into compost that then we can use into garden soil and then to make new fruits and vegetables, and the cycle goes over and over, it repeats itself, right? And so there's other ways that we can apply this thinking into our behaviors beyond just the organic material, so that we can keep our emissions and waste down to a bare minimum. So I'm really no expert in this, that's where Pere comes in. So I wanted to dig in a little bit more into why the circular economy is so critical to saving our planet.
The concept behind this is to, I wonder how this is called in English, to mimic the environmental ecosystems, so that we behave like nature. nature only needs the input from the sunshine, and everything is regenerated one generation of animals and plants after the other. So doing this is very difficult in industrial economy, but that's what we try to do, that everything we do is non-toxic to the environment, that can be organically remade, and what is not organic and renewable, keep it as long as we can within the technosphere, so that it remains in the economy as long as it can, with a number of strategies, like the R's we were talking about before, with a lot of design. So before the damage is done, rethinking all our products and services in a way that they can be kept within the economy. That's essential, not to need in our systems matter and energy from the outside. So if we don't need more matter and energy, then the capital, the natural capital that we give to our children and grandchildren will be kept as good as the one we had from our parents. That's the mission.
I have a question. How can we try to implement circular economy in our everyday lives? Can we do that, and how?
Thinking.
Okay, thinking and rethinking.
Yes.
All right.
So, for instance, if you think on a toothpaste, you want to wash your teeth, and how much toothpaste do you need? Do you need to cover all the brush, or you need just a small quantity of toothpaste?
Okay.
Maybe 1/5 of what we are taught. If you ask to your dentist, he will or she will tell you. So if we think, do I need so much? No, I need less. Then that's it. When we buy the toothpaste, what kind of packaging has it? Do I have an alternative to use one bigger packaging that has more product in it, or smaller pieces?
Exactly.
So
Think, and small gestures like this can really make a difference.
Yeah.
Adina, I have examples of circular economy in businesses, one from here and one from abroad, please.
Yes. So actually, beginning with the idea of thinking, you can come up with these creative solutions if you run a business for how you can try and instigate a circular economy. So the first example that I came across is actually a place I used to go to for lunch about once a week when I worked in Midtown Manhattan. It's a place called Just Salad, which makes, as you guessed it, salads. And so for $1 extra, I bought one of their reusable plastic bins, and then I guess it's a container, right? And I would bring it each time for a refill, and they would give me a new one that they've rinsed out. Anyway, it's a whole system. And I'd also get a free round of toppings with it. So it was a really great incentive for me to use their reusable plastic. And according to their website, this program is one of the largest of its kind in the whole world, and it actually saves 75,000 pounds of plastic every single year.
Wow.
Is this a good example of a circular economy?
Well, I'm an academic, and I try to open the mind of my students, going as much as I can against the mainstream. You are given an additional topping.
Yeah, like a little extra cheese, something to make the salad a little more fun.
But do you need it?
Oh man, Pere. You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe this extra food that you do not need has much more impact, being produced, being transported to the restaurant, being managed to the packaging it has, whatever, than the savings you do with changing your bin.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here, I guess you can always make things better, right? There's always a way to tinker with it and improve it.
But what I do is academic, is to open minds, but some things we normally do and we should not do is to punish those who do something.
Right.
No? If some company or some people are doing something, even if it's not perfect, please do not punish them. Punish the others, the ones that do nothing.
Yeah. So then an example here is a company out of Reus. It's called Freshly Cosmetics. So not only do they avoid using plastic containers to begin with by having these refill stations at their stores in Barcelona and Madrid, but 95% of their packaging is already made from recyclable glass, aluminum, craft paper, and wood. Their products also avoid using mineral oils, flammable petroleum gases, and microplastics, which pollute our planet's raw materials and our marine wildlife. And by the end of the year, all of their energy is supposed to come from photovoltaic installations, aka solar panels. So that's pretty cool, right?
That's pretty cool. So what I like is that their actions are in different, to take into account different issues: energy, matter, packaging, etc. So it's good to have your mind open to all kinds of possibilities, because adding up all of them, then we make a big change. In relation to cosmetics, for instance, you said they use no microplastics. Totally? Are we sure?
It says 95%, so. 95. But that 5%, depending upon how much you produce, can be a lot.
Yeah. The other thing is they use recyclable materials. What does it mean, recyclable? 100% recyclable, 50%. So we need to quantify those messages, because if not, we are confusing the consumer. If paper is recyclable, how much? 80%, 90%? The quality of what we get recycled is as virgin material or not?
That makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid we need to, it's very interesting, but we need to conclude here, but we cannot finish this chat, this conversation, without a surprise for you, what we call the question chain. That is a question for you from our last week's guest, in this case another researcher. Her name is Carme Jordi. She's an astronomer. Let's pay attention to what she asked you.
I'm Carme Jordi. I am astrophysicist at the University of Barcelona, and I have a question for you. And this question is about if you look at the sky and you imagine that you have stars and planets everywhere, can you really have this idea of the almost infinity universe? What is the what that inspires you about this infinity and these millions and millions and millions and millions of stars and planets around all the universe?
Well, that's
that's a good question.
That's
right?
a very good question. I think that what inspires me is that thinking that I'm very little one. This is so big, and I'm so little relevant. However, all of us have given an opportunity to leave our footprint in this planet, in our family, in society. We are small, but proportionally we can do a lot of things. So, going back to my topic, environmental issues, I think one by one we can do very little, but adding up all our efforts will make a change.
Even if we are small, everything we do makes a difference. It's important, so we need to think about this and make this effort. And before we go, Pere, you mentioned the next revolution. You said that the next revolution will be green. Can you explain that shortly, please, before we go?
Yeah, people will have information about what's coming. The next big crisis, the crisis right now, not only is the COVID-19, it's climate emergency. People will see that, and they see the consequences on them. And I think that sooner than later, there will be a citizen revolution on changing habits. So it will not be from the production side that things will change. It will not be legislation. It will be people. People will get tired of this way of producing and consuming, and will like to be better, to be more than to have more. So we will start consuming less. We will start consuming better, and we will start wanting more time and not more matter and energy.
Well, I will certainly vote for that. I don't know about you, Adina.
Oh, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and dive right in. I really liked what you said about changing from knowledge to activism, because without it, our planet's we're just making it worse.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, thank you, Pere, so much for coming today and helping us become more aware of our environmental issues and also the need to make important changes for the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It has been very funny.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Adina. Until next time.
Thanks.
Today on the Weekly Mag, the Catalan indie rock band Medusa Box will be presenting their third album, I Love Astronomy. Don't miss it!
This is Dashes, the latest video by today's guest artists. This band from the heart of the Humberto has toured around Spain, France and the United Kingdom. And now they have just released their third album, I Love Astronomy, which sounds like a way of conquering outer space with music. And we have here with us today Enrique Mon and Jordi Bosch. Welcome, it's a pleasure.
Hello, Marcella.
Hello. Okay, we are ready to learn a lot about the nature of our existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, following the line of the singles you've already released, you keep on asking yourselves lots of questions about the universe and about, our existence. So, after listening to your songs, do you think we're going to be wiser and we'll find out the true story about the universe and our existence? I mean, and why have you chosen this topic in the first place?
Okay, first of all, we've been playing since 2012, and from this moment the songs were talking about adolescent stories that were happening to me. And I think it was a good strategy to involve all the members of the band into the process of creation also. Not only the process of composition, but also searching ideas for all the imaginary that was going around the music, no? And I don't know, I was wearing a cap that it was written I Love Astronomy, and they thought it was a good idea to...
It basically starts as a joke, so because he was wearing that cap everywhere we went, so we decided to say, oh, the next album will be named like that. And it started as a joke, then we start reading things about astronomy and the rays of the human being, trying to colonize the universe, and we start getting interested of that kind of topic. So we start writing our lyrics or composing our songs in that direction.
Are you happy with the result?
Definitely, we are
very happy.
Do you feel this project is more mature than your previous projects?
Much more mature.
Yeah.
It's as well because what Enrique was saying about the topic we chose. As he said before, it was like kind of adolescent music. Now we're trying to focus. It's the first time that we all take part in the whole creative process of creating music. It wasn't Enrique with his guitar coming to the rehearsals with the whole song already done, and I just had my bass lines, the other had drums, etc.
So you said it was a joke, but are you actually really interested in astronomy?
Yeah, I'm really. I mean, at this moment, I was reading a lot about Stephen Hawking, and I was really interested in all this matter, and just came with, it came perfectly, the timing that we were composing the album. I was involved in that, and the fact is that the album is called I Love Astronomy, but it talks more about the metaphysic point of view of the astronomy, how the weight of the universe is more powerful than us, no, and our existence.
Okay.
It talks more about temporal bubbles, the existence of the human being, and this kind of questions. Not more like there's a star there, there's this structure.
Quite of more philosophical.
Yeah.
So you're interested in philosophy as well. And the songs are also in English. Is that also a coincidence?
No,
it's not.
Not at all. Why not?
First of all, we were listening to music in English since the beginning.
Okay.
And we were inspired by all these bands that came from United Kingdom, like Arctic Monkeys.
Once we tried to sing in Catalan, but that experiment doesn't work. We didn't feel comfortable with that.
But also the accent and how it sounds, no? When you're playing rock, I don't know. I think I have the capacity of being stronger. I don't know how to call it. Maybe the English vocabulary helps me doing that.
Right. Okay, something I found very interesting is that you defined yourselves with particular concepts such as the philosopher, the passenger, the governor, etc. Tell us about it.
Okay,
Who are you?
I'm the passenger. I mean, I've been playing this.
I'm the governor.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
so
he's a governor.
What's the story?
We found
behind
this
it?
band, and I don't know. I thought it was appropriate to give him the governor title.
Okay, or you could have been the president also, right? Or the
Yeah.
boss.
Probably, yeah. I don't know why they.
Because
I
it
don't
just
know.
sounds good.
The name
right?
it comes from the control of the hydroelectric plants, where before there was a person called the governor that he was opening and closing the valve. It has nothing to do with rock, but I don't know. And his title is the governor.
Well, it's kind of roles match with the role we have inside the band or our personality. Like Bravo, our keyboard player, he's always.
And you're a passenger.
Yeah.
So you're just passing by.
Yeah, the fact is that we were always joking with that because I'm the only one who didn't study music at all. A little music, maybe I studied. But we always say that I'm being carried on by all the other members that are studying music. So I'm kind of passenger. You know?
Okay, sounds good. Well, let's watch a few seconds of Bending Time, the first single of this album. Yeah, I must say it looks very good. You certainly gave a lot of attention to aesthetics, right? To the visual part of this album. You've worked with creative other disciplines, with visual arts, especially to develop, right, the concept of this album.
Yeah, when we proposed this theme at the beginning of the process of the creation, this helped us to open our music to other disciplines, as we can see. I don't know, we wanted to create a whole world around the music. And the fact is we have good friends also, and it was a good opportunity to call them to, for example, make the cover of the album.
What does it represent?
This is a transmission of energy from the non-existence to the existence. The album has this meaning inside.
Like I said, it's very profound, and I like it because it makes you think a lot, right?
Yeah.
Despite the current situation with the COVID pandemic, you have decided to release a physical record, right? Something that is not very common these days.
We are music romantics. We all collect music, and as we can do. We can't release that album as in the current situation because that ongoing crisis. So we decided to do something beyond just the sound of the music and create like a piece of art. As what we were saying about to mix different kind of like the photos, the videos, and try to match with different artists and with the whole piece of art.
Right, we are really looking forward to listening to the sound of your music, and today you are going to perform for us Interferences. What is it about?
The song is about, how it's called, frontier research, I think it's called like that. It's when you are a researcher in a field that is really advanced in technology, and maybe your findings can decide the destiny of the humanity. And maybe it can be used to do good things or bad things. And in this case, Interferences is that person that is doing research, and it arrives at this point that he or she says, okay, I'm not releasing this achievement because maybe it can be used to colonize the universe. And we have to let the universe be, and even if we don't let it, it's more powerful than us. So.
That's a good way to conclude this interview. Enric Font and Jordi Bosch, thank you so much for coming, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And today on the home straight of our show, guess what? The craziest quiz show ever with our favorite quizmaster, Sergi Cervera. Stay tuned!
And after that incredible performance by Medusa Box, let's play a little bit.
Hi, and welcome to Guess What, the quiz with surprising answers and surprised contestants. Let's say hello to them. Hello.
Hello. Well, today we are really delighted to have with us Donnacha Tiernan, a many-time contributor to our show. Hello, Donnacha.
Hello, Marcella. How are you?
I'm great. As you probably know, Donnacha is an Irish actor, comedian, writer, and podcast host. Well, Donnacha, we just heard that this is your last job, so tell us about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, during lockdown, like so many like so many middle-aged men, I decided the world needed to hear more of my opinions. So I got a USB microphone, and with the help of Zoom technology and my friend Andy Ritchie, who's living in Italy, we take 2 movies off our to-watch backlist every week and talk about them. It's called Call It Friendo, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts.
God bless the Zoom company in 2020.
God bless.
Yeah, well, Donegan knows who he's playing against, but that doesn't make the experience less daunting. So on his right, Patricia Scalona.
Hi. Hi.
How are you doing, Dolly? You okay?
I'm good, yeah.
I can tell. Patricia, sorry for that cute moment between us.
It will never happen again, don't worry.
But it's recorded. That's going to be for my own personal memories. Patricia is a book publisher whose intimidating look speaks volumes, right?
Does it not?
That look. That's what I'm talking about. And Donegan's left, Matthew Murtha. Welcome, sir.
Hello, welcome.
It doesn't work the same way.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah. We will have to wait until the lyrics challenge. We'll have time for this in the lyrics challenge. Matthew, a man who, wherever he goes, the grass never grows again. And no, he's not a pavement layer, but he does hold a PhD in molecular biology, and he damn knows how to use it.
That's right. I too started a podcast recently. It's called I Need a Friendo.
Did it work?
That's nice.
No.
Yeah.
What's this about you killing grass wherever you go?
It turns out that if you pee on the grass, it tends to die.
Oh, right. Well, with the typically American diet, I'm not surprised by that at all.
I know.
What, you peeing out Rockstar drinks and marshmallows? Nice.
Guys, sorry to interrupt, but Patricia is making me know that the show should resume, and no one cares about this intellectual fight.
Okay, it's a good idea to start. So let's start with the multiple choice challenge. Today we've gathered 3 stories about animals. So all you need to do is use your instincts to guess the ending.
No comments. Let's hear our first story.
When I was like really young, and we went to the baby zoo. It's like a little space for kids to share and get in touch with animals. And I don't remember if it was a horse or if it was a cow, but we were feeding them. And I remember my sister was like, my mother was carrying her, and she gave the cow, I don't remember if it was milk or peanuts.
So you heard him. Her little sister was feeding a horse or a cow with peanuts or milk or whatever.
What's the tea there? It's a bit of that tea.
So what happened next? After this whatever and whoever, what happened? A, the cow ate the little sister's hand. B, it was a horse, and it sneezed all over her sister. And C, it was a kangaroo, and his sister was offering it a cigarette.
Wow.
Now you guys can fight and talk.
Can we even be sure that this guy remembers what happened? I feel like this is
a terrible storyteller.
Right?
He's a great storyteller, right? Yeah.
There's a cow.
Specific,
cow
full of
children
details.
bathing suits. I don't know what
Maybe
was
a horse
happening.
was there. Boy, this is probably like the way Eddie Van Halen stories start.
The cow bit the sister. The cow bit the sister for sure.
Okay. We've got A option.
I'm gonna go with B. The horse sneezed on the sister.
Any logical or science related to it?
That seems like something, like we all know that cows are very carnivorous, but I feel like if it bit off the hand of a little girl, we would see that on the news.
Cows do that. I mean, I grew up on farms and
I'm gonna go with
don't
you.
feed with your hand.
I need intellectual discussion again. I love it. B, for any reasonable
Particular
reason?
reason? No, because I think a horse is an animal a kid would get close to.
Okay,
easily.
then
I don't
let's check what the animal was and the right action that happened.
The animal basically ate the whole hand of my sister, and she was a baby, but it didn't hurt. It wasn't like a proper bite. It was more like, like when animals play and just they bite you like very softly. You know what I mean? Of course, everyone was like, oh, holy shit, there's a cow eating the baby's hand, but nothing happened in the end.
All right, that's it then. Points go to you, Donegan.
Thank you.
Well done.
For the points.
Ooh.
Hey, yay.
So this question might seem a bit weird, but have you had any similar experiences involving farm?
Tell the truth.
Absolutely, yes. That's where I got the answer from. I got bitten by a donkey when I got bitten by a donkey when I was a kid.
Are you okay now?
That's a loaded question. That's a really loaded question.
Eventually, I'll get to it with my therapist. We're covering the years leading up to the donkey bite at the moment.
So one time I bit a cow.
How was your mother, actually?
And did any
She doing
horse
okay?
sneeze you all over?
Yes, of course.
Of course,
Wait,
of course.
I
Don't know
was
why I
asking
asked.
for it. I would sprinkle pepper in the
Oh my
horse's-
gosh, I don't know why I asked.
And Patricia?
No, I try to keep away from animals as much as I can. You know, we already have men around, so we're fine.
Okay. Okay, so let's listen to the story of another animal, or rather an idea of an animal.
When I was a teenager, I returned to my home with a friend. We are drunk, and when we walk to the street, we see in the floor a crushed animal. And for me, it was a cat, and for my friend, it was a dog. We decided 10 minutes later take a picture to can see the next morning when, well, our minds will refresh. And
Well, we have chosen a very specific and full of detailed people today, as you might have seen. All right, it was a cat, it was a dog. What was it in the end? I'm gonna give you 3 options, and one of them is gonna be right. A, it was a cat. B, it was a pigeon. C, it was a pillow.
A pillow.
Yeah, we know that it's not an animal, but maybe she doesn't. Who knows? Or the screenwriter, who knows?
I love that dog wasn't even a choice.
No, it wasn't a choice. Of course it wasn't.
How drunk was this girl?
Maybe quite a bit. She confessed.
I'm going pigeon.
You're going pigeon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel like I
why
see a
this
lot
is
of-
strange look? I mean,
Because
why
I
this?
don't-
Like,
I'm
I
speculating,
shouldn't be
I'm-
picking that, but I'm going after this option.
I don't know, I'm Sherlock Holmesing it in my head. I see a lot of dead pigeons around the street. It's suspicious, you know?
All right. How about you?
I'm gonna go with pillow.
Of course, they know why I asked.
Yeah.
Patricia.
Me too, actually.
You're going after the
of
pillow,
course.
okay? Okay. So the question still, what was that?
finally, next morning when we see the picture, we see the animal that was a cat and was a dog. It was a peach, a white peach.
Oh, peach. Short way for pigeon.
That's how the Argentinians pronounce it.
Was actually a pigeon. Short for pigeon.
Oh, so I got the points again. Oh, what's happening?
I'm going to contest this.
You're kicking asses here.
I would. What is she saying? Yeah, but okay, I'll take it. I'll take the points. Give me the points for the peach.
So to finish, let's meet our old friend Tony, who has already told us a few stories. So check it out.
2 years ago, I lived in a dorm room near the mountains. As I was going up a hill to go to my dorm with my umbrella, far away in the distance I saw an ugly, huge, disgusting boar. And I was coming up and he was going down. And I was like, okay, I gotta keep calm. It's not gonna do anything. But then suddenly the boar looked at me like this.
Finally,
Wow.
a storyteller.
Finally a storyteller.
Yeah, this guy's got talent.
Yeah, it was a specific, exactly, a boar. So, alone in the dark, facing that boar, what happened? Spoiler, he survived, okay? So, options. A, he fought the beast with his umbrella. B, he sprinted for a couple of blocks chased by the boar. C, he just walked fast and arrived safely at his dorm.
I'm gonna say he sprinted.
He sprinted.
Yeah.
He sprinted. Okay, B option.
C, fast walk.
C, fast walk and back to
Yeah,
his
no
dorm.
problem.
Matthew?
I kind of want to get points in this one, so I'm gonna say whatever he just said.
Oh.
Is that a fast walk? Yeah, C. Fast walk.
Traitor.
All right.
I'm sorry,
so
lady. I'm switching teams.
Let's see how he survived.
And he started crossing the street in my direction really calm. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna hit it with my umbrella and then I'm gonna run and I'm gonna leave. Instead of that, I started walking like really fast like this. And I arrived to my dorm without it doing anything to me.
Well, Tony definitely know how to keep his cool in terrible situations. As you can see, he has nerves of steel. And you got points. Yay!
Okay, so what would you guys have done in a similar situation? Or what if you found ever found yourselves in similar situations like this or involving another animal?
I would have wrestled that wild pig with my bare hands.
Umbrella. The option was the umbrella. Doing it, but with the umbrella.
Real men don't need umbrellas.
I would have said, hey, Mrs. Murta, say hi to Matthew for you.
All right, guys, let's check it out the score. Well, our guest is just ahead with 3 points, and Matthew wanted points on the multiple choice challenge, so he pursued it and he got it with 1 point. And Patricia,
I definitely don't connect with people. That's
she
obvious.
doesn't connect with people,
Or
so
animals.
she's got 0.
Or with animals.
Or with animals. Or with animals. That's right. Okay, so far so good. So let's go for the second round.
Okay, but while our contestants get ready, let's watch another language tip. So pay close attention to this one because our teacher, Mark Broderick, is going to give you some phrases used to stand up to other people, and they should be handled with care.
Hi. So, I have a couple of more phrases for you, and these phrases are to do with confrontation or the beginning or middle of an argument. The first one we have is, give me strength. And when you hear somebody saying, give me strength, it means they have lost all their patience with a situation. I've been working all weekend since 5 o'clock in the morning. Give me strength. The next one is, give me a break. All right? When you're having an argument with somebody and they say, give me a break, it means like back off. All right? Easy there. Don't need to say any more. The next one, of course, is the beginning of many an argument. And this phrase is, what's that supposed to mean? If somebody says, what's that supposed to mean, they may have taken something that you have said out of context and it has made them extremely angry about something. What's that supposed to mean? I didn't mean to say that, would be an example. And finally, you have some nerve. This, of course, you have the audacity to tell me something that I already know or to insult me in some way. You have some nerve. So, in order to stop these confrontations, remember, when you hear, give me strength, give me a break, what's that supposed to mean? And you have some nerve, could be the beginning of an argument. Take care.
And now for the second round, the speed challenge. 2 points every right answer, and it's going to be about, do you know what day is today? Keep your instruments, because we made some changes here.
I have no idea.
You'll see,
You're going to surprise us, right?
Or maybe you should ask them if they know why today is a special day.
Why today is a special day?
It's not your birthday, is it?
No, it is not. It is not. But she's right. I should have asked you that. Today is the 5th of December, so it's the day of the ninja. Today is actually the day of the ninja. Didn't expect you that, right? So, those, I mean, ninja, those secret agents in Japanese culture. That means that today the speed challenge can be none other than Japanese martial arts, Japanese food, or nonsense.
Well, and pay attention because today is going to be a bit different. So, no instruments in this round.
Okay.
No instruments. We are going to read out some Japanese words to each of you one at a time, and you'll have to decide if they refer to a martial art, to a type of food, or to something completely different.
By the way, in advance, I seriously want to apologize to the Japanese community for our pronunciation, all right? We'll do our best. So, Patricia goes first. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Okay, Patricia, sumo.
Fight.
Martial art,
Martial
correct.
art.
All right, Donakan, ramen.
Food.
That is correct.
Okay, Matthew, aikido.
Swedish store.
Sorry?
It's a department store from Sweden.
We have been clear
Well,
about
I'm
the
sorry.
fact that
Martial art?
exactly. It's one of the 3 options we gave
Martial
you.
art.
Not correct. Not correct.
Okay.
All right. Next for Patricia, karate.
Martial art.
That's correct.
Okay, Donaka, arigato.
Nonsense, it's goodbye.
It's actually
Well,
thank you.
There we go.
But it's still nonsense, so it's accepted, right?
Yeah, absolutely accepted. Matthew, for you, osoi.
Food. Yeah.
No, that is not correct. It's nonsense. It means slow.
Okay, Patricia, Kumamoto.
Food.
That is not correct. It's
Nonsense.
a city.
Sorry, no. Okay, nonsense.
Nonsense. Okay, what is it then?
It's a city.
It's a
in
city.
Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
For
I mean, the
Donnachan,
residents of the city.
that goes to you, Donnachan. Jujutsu.
God bless you.
It's a fight. Hero priest.
That
It's
is
a type of
correct,
fighting.
actually. Well done.
Okay, Matthew, Suwaru.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
I'm going to say food.
Actually.
Well, it means to sit, actually, so nonsense.
We are standing, so nonsense. Exactly.
I always say that before I eat.
For
Very little
Patricia.
food on the menu today.
Guys, for Patricia. Kendo.
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 Nonsense?
That is not correct. Actually, it's a martial art.
Okay.
Okay, Donnachan, tempura.
That's food.
Exactly.
Great. And for Matthew, yakitori.
Food.
It's correct. But I'm having the best time of my life.
done.
Speed challenge.
Well
Japanese
done,
French.
actually.
You need to go to
What do you
Tokyo,
think?
I
They
think.
did very
They
well.
did very well, and unexpectedly very well, yeah.
And
Even
while
Matthew.
before we go to the score, have you ever been to Japan, and what do you think about the Japanese culture?
I have been to Tokyo, and I absolutely relived that movie Lost in Translation. I was completely lost. I had no idea. I was so sad, but I got to meet Bill Murray. So
Did you?
no,
For real? Oh.
everything but that part of the movie. No, it was complicated. Everybody was very polite. You know, I could tell that they still thought I was an idiot because they were like, oh, and then they would pat me on the head.
Let's see who's ahead. Let's check the final score, but I'm sure it's going to be very exciting to know at the moment that we will make it public. Right now, Donnachan is ahead with 11 points. Patricia is behind with 4 points.
Whoa.
And Matthew is losing with 3 points. So, the final score will be decided in the lyrics challenge. 3 points for every right answer. Get hold of your instruments now.
Okay.
Now is the time.
So we are going to recite a few verses of a very popular song, or some very popular songs. All you have to do is use the instrument to answer and guess the song, either the song or the artist.
Okay, or just sing or hum along, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, remember, 3 points if you get it right, otherwise you will lose 3 points. And the question will pass on to the next contestant.
Okay, so let's start with the first song, so listen up.
So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Donnachan?
Forever trust in who we are and nothing else matters.
Yeah, check it out. Music. Nothing else matters. Well done.
Excellent.
Of course,
Well,
Nothing Else Matters by the American rock band Metallica.
That's right. If you want to play it, be aware that Nothing Else Matters is featured in the music video game Guitar Hero Metallica.
You have homework for this afternoon. All right, next song.
Girls Who Want Boys.
Mario. I'm
Artemis.
scared now.
I'm gonna try Girls Who Want Boys.
It's
are
easy.
Boys
Just say
Who
your
Want
title.
Girls.
Yeah, that's right.
That one. And
Okay,
then
and the name of the song or the artist?
is.
Oh
I think it's Girls and Boys by
Oh
Blur.
my God! Check it out! Check it out!
Exactly the way I sing.
Exactly.
I would have done the same for you.
It's okay, I knew it.
Yeah, we know that you knew. That's why we're giving you the points.
I appreciate that.
Yes, Girls and Boys by the British band Blur. It was Blur's first top 5 hit and their most successful single until Country House reached #1 the following year.
Okay, and we go to the next song, right,
Yeah,
Sergio?
absolutely. Here it goes. My Loneliness.
Is killing me.
No! Check it out, man! Music!
A man of many genres.
video came out? Good God. Full name of the song
That was
is
a
Baby
moment.
One More Time by Britney Spears.
There
The
you
year was
go,
1996.
absolutely, one more time, yes.
Tell us the truth. Your favorite song?
No, it's not even my favorite Britney Spears song. That would be probably Toxic. Toxic by Britney Spears.
Okay, so one more time, sung by Britney Spears. Of course, the song is one of the best-selling singles of all time, with over 10 million copies sold.
Wow, wow, yeah, that's definitely a number. All right, and now for the last song, pay attention, guys, because here it goes.
We don't need no Matthew?
Satisfaction.
Patricia!
No,
Patricia!
Education.
Yeah, shame on you, Patricia!
Education.
Check it out, and you should be
Let's hear
ashamed.
it.
I'm
You should be ashamed. Music!
We don't need no thought control.
You just did. Just did.
Man. She tricked me with her eyes.
I could tell. Yeah, I'm sure. Technically, yeah, she was right. Technically, you can say the title, you can say the musician, you can sing it, or you can hum it. So Patricia performing
usual.
well.
As
yeah,
usual, I
absolutely. Yeah, exactly. The title was Another Brick in the Wall, the most popular song by Pink Floyd from the rock opera The Wall. And as a curiosity, in exchange for performing the vocals, the children of Elsington School received tickets to a Pink Floyd concert, an album, and a single. How about that?
Well, maybe no need to ask if they are a fan of these songs, right? Or
Matthew
of the
is
band.
for
I'm
sure.
It's
you
my
all
favorite
are.
song of all time. We
All
don't
right.
need no.
Well, the final score actually is Donegan won
Wow.
with, pay attention,
Well
hold
done.
it, 17
Congratulations.
points, guys. Patricia performed very well with 7 points. And Matthew hanging in there with his well-deserved 3 points.
But he's happy. so
Yeah, and
it's
his
good.
happiness.
No?
Yeah, plus his happiness.
Anyway, Donica, congratulations.
Thank you
Really
very
well
much.
played. Have you enjoyed the game?
I have, and I would like to add this is 100% success rate in this competition.
Wow.
He's never lost.
Well,
Never lost.
okay.
Never- oh, wow.
So maybe he should come again?
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
come
Consider
again.
yourself
yeah.
invited again.
Outstanding. Let's do it.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Matthew. Until next time.
Do my best.
And we've come to the end of today's show. We'll be back next week. You can catch up with every episode on our website. And of course, you can follow us on social media. That's also where you can post the solution to the guess word by Mario Serra. And the clue is taking a sketch to retreat. That's 11 letters. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.